If you've ever been told you think too much, you probably heard it like it was a flaw. Maybe you've been told you're overcomplicating things. Maybe someone said you need to relax, stop analyzing everything, or just go with the flow. And after hearing it enough times, you may have started to believe that your mind works against you. But what if thinking deeply isn't a flaw? What if it's a hidden strength? Today, we're going to explore what psychology says about people who think too much. And you might discover that the very thing you've been criticized for is actually a powerful trait that gives you insight, awareness, and depth that many people never develop. Let's start with the first insight. 1. Overthinking often comes from high self-awareness. Psychology shows that people who think deeply tend to have stronger self-awareness. You notice your thoughts, your actions, and the effects you have on others. You replay conversations, not because you want to punish yourself, but because you want to understand what happened and how to improve. For example, if a conversation feels awkward, you might replay it in your mind, not because you enjoy stressing yourself out, but because you're trying to learn from it. You're trying to grow. Most people move on without reflecting, but reflective thinkers want to understand themselves, which is the first step toward personal growth. Self-awareness can feel heavy at times, but it's also the foundation of emotional intelligence. 2. Thinking too much can be linked to strong empathy. Research indicates that people who deeply analyze situations often have higher empathy. You don't just notice your own feelings, you notice other people's feelings too. You sense tone shifts, subtle changes in body language, and emotional undercurrents in conversations. If someone is quieter than usual, you notice. If someone's tone feels off, you pick up on it, and then you start thinking about it. You may ask yourself, did I say something wrong, or are they okay? This sensitivity can feel exhausting, but it also means you're tuned in to other people's emotional worlds. You care about the impact of your words. You try not to hurt people. That level of empathy is rare, and it's a strength. 3. Overthinking is often a sign of a curious and analytical mind. Psychology shows that people who think deeply tend to be curious and analytical. You don't accept things at face value. You want to understand why things happen, how they work, and what they mean. You may analyze conversations, social dynamics, life decisions, or even philosophical questions. You may find yourself asking, why do I feel this way? Or why did that person react like that? This habit can make your mind feel noisy, but it also means you're driven by curiosity. You seek meaning, and that makes you a natural problem solver. The world needs people who ask deeper questions instead of accepting surface-level answers. 4. Overthinking is often tied to creativity. Many creative people tend to think more than others. Research shows that deep thinkers often connect ideas in unique ways. Your mind may wander, explore different scenarios, and create possibilities that others never consider. Maybe you imagine multiple outcomes before making a decision. Maybe you replay scenarios, thinking about different responses. While this can feel overwhelming, it also means your mind is constantly generating ideas. Artists, writers, inventors, and visionaries often share this trait. Your ability to imagine possibilities can be a creative superpower, even if it sometimes feels like a burden. 5. Overthinking can come from a desire to do things well. Psychology also suggests that deep thinkers often hold themselves to high standards. You want to do things right. You want to make good decisions. You want to avoid hurting others or making mistakes. So you analyze situations carefully. You consider consequences before acting. You weigh your choices. While this can slow down decision-making, it also means you're thoughtful and responsible. You don't rush blindly into things. And when you do act, it's usually with intention. The world benefits from people who think carefully before they act. 6. Deep thinkers often have rich inner lives. People who think deeply often have vivid inner worlds.
Your mind is active. You reflect on memories, analyze experiences, imagine possibilities, and think about life on a deeper level. While some people move quickly from one moment to the next, you tend to reflect. You look for meaning. You wonder about your purpose, your relationships, and your future. This rich inner world can feel intense at times, but it also means you experience life with depth. You notice things others miss. You feel things deeply, and that gives life meaning beyond the surface. Now, let's talk about something important. Thinking deeply can sometimes feel overwhelming. You may replay situations at night. You may analyze small moments until they feel bigger than they really are. You may question yourself more than others do. But thinking deeply doesn't make you weak or flawed. It means your mind is trying to understand, learn, protect, and improve. Your brain isn't trying to sabotage you. It's trying to make sense of the world. And with awareness, you can learn to guide your thoughts instead of letting them overwhelm you. Deep thinking becomes a tool, not a burden. So if you've ever been told that you think too much, remember this: you're not broken. You're observant. You're thoughtful. You're empathetic. You're reflective. And these traits, when balanced, can become your greatest strengths. Before you leave, take a moment to reflect. Do you recognize yourself in these traits? Have you ever felt misunderstood for thinking deeply? If this message resonated with you, you're not alone, and there's strength in understanding yourself better. If you want to explore more insights about personality, emotions, and the psychology behind who you are, make sure to subscribe. This channel is here to help you understand yourself and grow with clarity, confidence, and compassion. And remember, your depth isn't a weakness, it's a gift. You just have to learn how to use it.